All right, today we're diving into a writer whose words were, well, they were a force of nature. We're talking about a storm of passion, music, and raw emotion that just completely electrified 20th century literature. Of course, I'm talking about the Welsh poet Dylan Thomas. You know this line, right? It has to be one of the most powerful and defiant verses in the entire English language. But here's the thing. While so many of us know the poem, far fewer know the incredibly versatile artist who raged so brilliantly against the dying of the light.
Dylan Thomas wasn't just a writer, he was a phenomenon. From his home in Wales, he would take on the biggest themes you can imagine: life, death, nature, time, and wrestle them into this form that was just uniquely, totally his own.
So to really get to the heart of his work, we'll first look at the man himself and his very distinct style. Then, we're going to journey through his iconic poetry, his really nostalgic prose, and his groundbreaking drama, before we wrap it all up with his lasting legacy. Okay, so let's kick things off with part one, A Voice Against the Dying Light. Who is the man behind these absolutely unforgettable words? What Thomas did was forge this completely original voice by blending the passion of Romanticism with the experimentation of modernism. His work isn't just lyrical, it's musical. Seriously, he composed with words, using alliteration and assonance to create this dense sonic texture that you feel as much as you read. And all the while, he's painting these vivid, almost surreal images that grapple with the very core of existence. Now let's see how that style just exploded in the medium he's most famous for. This brings us to his poetry, which we're calling the green fuse. And that phrase, it comes from one of his poems, and it describes that unstoppable life force that drives a flower to grow, the very same force that drives us, and also the one that drives us to our end. So his career launches with 18 poems back in 1934, and right away it announced this major new talent. He followed that up with collections like The Map of Love, which dove into human desire, and later Deaths and Entrances, which is widely considered his masterpiece. And yeah, it's in that final collection we find his most famous poem.
And this is what just blows my mind. The incredible technical control behind all that raw emotion. Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night is a villanelle, which is a notoriously strict and complex poetic form. The fact that Thomas could pour so much desperate, passionate feeling into such a rigid structure, that's a true mark of his mastery.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The very same artist who was grappling with these huge universal themes in his poetry could just completely shift gears. When he turned to prose, his tone changed entirely. That cosmic scope narrowed, becoming deeply personal, nostalgic, and often wonderfully whimsical.
And that personal focus takes us right into our third section, prose, A Child's Memories. This is where Thomas basically invites us into the world that shaped him, his childhood in Wales.
His collection of short stories, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Dog, is this funny and moving semi-autobiographical journey through his youth. But his most beloved prose work, A Child's Christmas in Wales, it is just pure magic. He uses that same powerful sensory language to transport you directly into the warmth and wonder of a childhood memory.
So we've gone from the intimacy of a single memory, and now Thomas zooms way out, expanding his scope to capture the life of an entire community. Let's explore his drama, The Voices of Wales.
His most famous dramatic work is a radio play called Under Milkwood. It's set in this fictional, quirky little Welsh seaside town called Laregub.
Kind of an interesting name, isn't it?
Go on, try it. L-L-A-R-E-G-G-U-B. Read backwards, it spells buggerall. This one little detail just reveals the playful, irreverent wit Thomas wove into his work. See, he wasn't just a poet of intense seriousness, he had a profound sense of humor.
Under Milkwood is so unique because it's a play for voices. It's really less about plot and more about atmosphere. Through this rich tapestry of monologues and dialogues, it's like Thomas is letting us eavesdrop on the innermost thoughts, the secret dreams, and the quiet heartbreaks of an entire town, creating this unforgettable portrait of community.
So, okay, we've seen the poet of life and death, the storyteller of childhood memory, and the playwright of a community's dreams. So why does his work continue to resonate so powerfully today? This brings us to our final section, An Indelible Mark.
When you look across these three distinct forms, you can see how Thomas explored the essential pillars of the human experience. His poetry, it tackled the vast, universal questions of our shared condition. His prose zeroed in on the intensely personal world of memory. And his drama, it celebrated the collective soul of a community.
At the end of the day, Dylan Thomas left his mark because he understood the elemental force a word can carry. His work continues to captivate and inspire, proving the enduring power of storytelling. He reminds us, always, to not go gentle, but to rage against the